I know, it's been a while since we've done one of these, but good news, you're getting one now, damn it. It's NFL Q&A time. Got out the old Schlegel mobile device, the Jeff 6000, or whatever cheap Boost mobile thing this thing is. Well, let's go ahead and kick it off here. London is Red asks, heading into the offseason, what three-step plan would you put in place to turn around this absolute shit show of a season if you were Reggie McKenzie, the Raiders general manager, because he may be gone after the season? Step one, quit. Walk away. Step two, let John Gruden assume full control of day-to-day football operations. 3, sit back on your couch for the next 9 years and watch him continue to run this organization in the damn ground. If you're Reggie McKenzie, that's what you do. That's your salvation. Ethan Fuller, will a defensive player ever win MVP again? It's surely possible. Like I could have thought of this year, if the Bears went like 11, 12 games, maybe they finished with the top 2 seed in the NFC, and Khalil Mack had like 16 sacks. And some of the other notable quarterbacks, their seasons kind of counterbalance themselves, and you're like, yeah, they were really good, but like even if you look at Mahomes, if the Chiefs finish like 12-4, how much different is that from Alex Smith, even though Mahomes is clearly superior? Overall impact, how much was there? Drew Brees, it's like, yeah, he could be an MVP candidate any season, but you look at the numbers, what's so different from any other year other than the completion percentage being higher? But you could actually legitimately point to a significant tangible impact that somebody like a Khalil Mack had. So if he would have played all 16 games this year, had like 16 and a half sacks, the Bears win like 12 games or so, finish with the 2 seed in the NFC, then yes, I think you could make a significant argument for a Khalil Mack being the most valuable player in the league. So as a result, I do see it's something that can happen again. It's the last time it happened. Lawrence Taylor in 86. It could happen. It's been a long time, and it may be a long time still, but it could happen. Josh JS 360. If you had to pick a quarterback for your team, would it be Dak Prescott or Mitchell Trubisky? Ooh. At this particular moment, it would be Trubisky. And the reason I say that is because you have potentially 3 more years of him under his rookie contract. Where with Dak, you get at best 1 more. That's if the Cowboys don't go ahead and be idiots and give him an extension in this offseason after 3 years. So I would go with Trubisky because of the longer-term value of having the quarterback under the rookie contract. Hot Rod. Antonius Johnson 4 asked, do you think Urban Meyer will try his hand at coaching in the NFL? If he couldn't handle the pain of the headaches from the stress that came with coaching at college, what the hell is he going to do at the NFL level? No. He done. And which of these head coaches do you see most likely jumping to the NFL in 2019? Nick Saban, Lincoln Riley, or Jim Harbaugh? Saban ain't going anywhere. Why the hell would he? Lincoln Riley, you could see it happening. But if I'm Lincoln Riley, they're really going to have to throw a shit ton of money at me for me to leave Oklahoma. Because you know, as long as you're at Oklahoma, you only lose 1 game every year. You win your Big 12 championship. The fucking football committee, playoff committee is going to make sure that you get into the college football playoff every year. That's nice certainty to have. Harbaugh, to me, would be the most likely of the 3, although I wonder if the luster of his star has worn off a little bit for NFL teams. If this wasn't the year for him at Michigan, it's never going to be. That was such a disappointment, the way they got shellacked by Ohio State in the big game. He would be the most likely to me of the 3. Keith 10 asks, after seeing all the first-round rookie quarterbacks, who's impressed or disappointed you the most? I think all of them have shown flashes, and I don't know any of them have been overwhelmingly impressive. Baker's had a couple of good games, and he's had other games that he sucked. Darnold had a couple of nice games, and he had other games that he sucked, and then he's had some injuries. Josh Allen's had an injury that kept him out for several games. He's had some flashes, but he's still very raw. But who's really going to succeed with the lack of offensive talent he has around him in Buffalo? You could say the similar thing for Darnold and the Jets. You could also say the similar thing for Rosen with the Cardinals. I don't think he's been particularly great, but I'm not about to sit there and pass full judgment on him on that shit show of a team. Their offensive line is atrocious. And then you look at Lamar Jackson. Yeah, he's 3-0 as a starter. That's cool, and he's made a couple of nice throws, but they've stepped back the offense quite a bit for him, and he's getting by a lot on his feet right now. So I don't know if any of them have truly been impressive, but I think it is important to start reserving judgment year two of these guys, especially if we see these guys' teams actually do something to build around them. Now, Baker's offensive infrastructure obviously is the best out of all the rookie quarterbacks, and that has made a big difference, that's for sure. Then he also asked, what job is more attractive, the Browns or the Packers? You know, the easy thought is to say the Packers because they have Aaron Rodgers, but to me it's the Browns. The Steelers are towards the end of their run. The Ravens are towards the end of their run. The Bengals are backsliding. Like, to me, if I'm looking at it and I say, I'm looking at what situation do I have the path of least resistance to get to the playoffs quicker and stay there longer, it's in the AFC North. It's not in the NFC North. The Vikings should be good for a couple of years. The Bears should be good for a couple of years. Maybe the Lions will improve. You know, just because Aaron Rodgers is there, that's nice, but that doesn't automatically guarantee anything. I think the path of least resistance to the playoffs out of those two jobs by far is Cleveland. Now, you guys can comment whether you agree or not in the comment section below, but that's what I see. Armanda, which QB whose team is not projected to make the playoffs this year has the highest expectations in 2019? Not projected to make the playoffs this year. Highest expectations in 2019. Maybe Baker, because people are going to be talking about him showing in year two he could be the franchise guy, and we'll be talking about playoffs for Cleveland. And that is massive expectations for a starting quarterback, is to lead the Browns to the playoffs. Stat Patford Goat. Should Detroit consider a new QB anytime soon? You know, you're talking about Stafford's probably, already 31, 32, something like that. He's been in the league since 2009. This is season 10. I don't think it's that crazy to start thinking about it. You're going to have to think about it at some point in time down the road. I don't think that's crazy at all. Braden Smith, do you think Sean Alexander is a Hall of Famer? I think Sean Alexander was a good running back with a couple of outstanding years, but I'm not sure that's enough to get him into the Hall of Fame. Joseph Humphrey, favorite horror movies and favorite song from your childhood? This is an NFL Q&A, Joseph. We ask NFL-related questions. If you were asking me something about black lesbian porn or something, different story. I'm not here to answer questions about horror movies and songs from my childhood. Thomas McCurley, what do you think the Bears' final record is going to be? Are they going to win the division? And what is your Bears playoff prediction? How far they will go? And try to be realistic, no homer answers. I mean, if there's one thing you could say about me with the Bears, Thomas, you would think that you wouldn't get a whole lot of homer crap from me. Even in a season like this year where they've actually been good and I had a little reason to be positive and a little bit of reason to have some confidence in them, you don't hear me talk about the fucking Super Bowl champs coming out of Hallis Hall, do you? A realistic thing for them is to win 11 games, win the NFC North, win that home playoff game, pray to God they're the 3 seed so they could go, hopefully, to LA. Hopefully. Which is where the Bears having to beat the Rams on Sunday night becomes huge because that could help make that happen. If the Bears were able to win that 3 versus 6 game, I'll put it this way. I think they can go to the NFC Championship game if they played the Rams in the second round. Out of the teams in the NFC, not named the Rams because of their offensive firepower, the team in the NFC that could give the Saints the most trouble in the dome is the Bears. But I still feel like they're at least a year away. Ruben Moss, What should the Giants do with Eli in the quarterback position? Release him. Master Salvatari. What would be your ideal outcome for the Bears in the postseason? One playoff win at least. The ideal outcome for the Bears if they make the playoffs is to win the Super Bowl. That's the ideal outcome. The realistic outcome would be, to me, one playoff win. But the ideal outcome is the Super Bowl champs. Michael Corvin, are there any realistic chances of the Bears playing in or winning a Super Bowl within the next 5 years with a young quarterback on a rookie contract with young core talent on both sides of the ball? Yes, it's realistic that the Bears could get to the Super Bowl in 5 years, but I'm not sure that they're there yet. And there's no guarantee that the next year that they will take another step forward. That's just the name of the game in the NFL. Alex asks, short question, but rank the 5 first-round QBs' performances this year. If I had to rank them right now, Baker 1, Lamar 2. Ooh. Maybe Josh Allen. Ugh, he hasn't played many games, though. I was going to say Josh Allen 3. Ugh. After those first two, you can kind of pick them. Drake Maddox, best fit at coach for Baker, and what would you grade their draft class so far at this point in the season? Draft class has been pretty good with Mayfield and Ward and Chubb. Giving up the third-round pick for Tyrod was stupid. Wonder who called that. Best fit at coach for Baker is Lincoln Riley. More realistic, Mike McCarthy. Fix this offense. Bye, Mike. All biased thoughts aside, who do you think would be a good fit as the Packers' new head coach? You're going to hear a lot of reports about Josh McDaniels. He may very well end up being that guy. But they're going to need somebody that can get into Aaron's shit a little bit. They're going to need somebody that can hold Aaron's feet to the fire a little bit and not just let him think that he has carte blanche to do whatever the hell he wants. Baller B. Scott, will 2019 see the exchange of head coaches? Browns get Mike McCarthy and Green Bay gets Hugh Jackson. Please say no. Hugh's ready to take over in Cincinnati. That's what that whole move was there. That'd be funny. Scott Ford, do you have a favorite dog breed? Well, I've got a Beagle and a Chihuahua Terrier mix. So those would have to be my favorite dog breeds. And for the other guy that was asking, oh, you're answering questions about dog breeds. He asked a question about fucking dogs. I have dogs, and they're all good dogs. So, of course, I answered that damn question. If you had to ask me, outside of the breed of dogs that I have, what my favorite breed would probably be English Bulldog. Charlie Bell. Do you think Le'Veon Bell would make a great fit in Houston? I don't see why not. You add a back like him that can do the things that he can do out of the backfield to a team that has Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller for the 6 to 8 games a year that he's healthy. That's a pretty dangerous, explosive offense. Danny Kamen, do the Chargers make the playoffs? Am I black? The answer is yes. Shut up. Answer is yes. Yes. Josh Grantham, has the Titan season been the most confusing you've ever seen by a team? It's been confusing. I don't know if it's the most confusing I've ever seen, but it has been a confusing one. Vincent Igakun. Should the Cowboys still start Sean Lee despite how well Leighton Vander Esch has played? If you were a coach and you cannot figure out a way to get Leighton Vander Esch, Jalen Smith, and Sean Lee all on your base defense at the same time, then you are a moron. Period. That's ridiculous if you can't figure that out. Colin, how do you feel about the Texas playoff hopes? If anything, Otson adds a chance for us to hang in with any team. I wouldn't disagree with that. I feel like you can win a playoff game, maybe two. 1-9 in a row. You're looking good. Danny Boy, if Aaron Rodgers is considered the best quarterback to ever play in the NFL, how come he only played in one Super Bowl? A lot of different factors, a lot of different things that come into play. Some related to him and many of them not. It's like the question used to be about Dan Marino. He got to the Super Bowl in his second year and he never played in another one again. That automatically mean that he was a bum? No. But I don't know that Aaron Rodgers is considered the best quarterback to ever play in the NFL. That pretty much goes to Tom Brady unanimously now. It's talked about like Aaron Rodgers being the best like physical talent, maybe best pure thrower of the football. But Yeah. Kieran Chase, do you think the Ravens can win the NFC North, especially with them being a half game behind Pittsburgh and the Steelers having to play the Patriots and Saints in back-to-back games? Yes, it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. Vols fan, how close are the Colts to being a Super Bowl contender? Seem to be a wide receiver two and a pass rusher away. You were perhaps being a little kind to them. They are a little bit more than a second wide receiver and one edge rusher away. Give me a break. They're fucking 6-6. A number 2 wide receiver and a pass rusher is not going to make them a Super Bowl team. Zach Powers, what is the reason behind the horrible season for the Lions in your opinion? Just don't have enough talent? Got off that shitty start under Patricia? Outside of watching the Bears play the Lions twice, I haven't watched a ton of Lions football this year. But, yeah, just not a good team. They're just not a good team. Redskins Recon. His team's 6-6. He's barely piping up. What's the Skins' recipe for success these last 4 games? Butt fumble in every game. Lose your last 4 and get some draft position because you're not making the playoffs. You're not winning that fucking division. Christmas, where are you at? What is your dream match in the Super Bowl with any team in any era? No Chicago Bears teams. Any team, any era, no Bears teams, huh? Well, that's not very nice. I would probably say Lombardi's Packers versus Knowles Steelers of the 70s. Or you could say the Steelers of the 70s, the Steel Curtain defense versus Bill Walsh's 49ers offense of the 80s. That would be a lot of fun. Colorado MMA fan, thoughts on Phillip Lindsay? And where do you think his ceiling is as an NFL running back? I think when he was coming out of the draft, I thought I had like a 4th or 5th round grade on him. He went undrafted. Happy for him. Surprised he was undrafted. What's his ceiling? I think his ultimate ceiling is probably a top 10 running back in the league. Top 10. Stephen Hilton, who would you say is the current leader for the NFL MVP? To me, at this particular moment, it's Drew Brees. To me, it's Drew Brees. Maggie Morrissey, who do you think will be executive of the year? Ryan Pace, Chicago Bears. When you look at what he did in the draft, when you look at what he did via trades and free agency, I think it's Ryan Pace. I really, really do. Vinny asks, will Derek Carr be a Raider next year? 50-50, great question. Probably not if Jacksonville wants to get froggy. How many years does Drew Brees have left? Shit, you look at him now, you think another 3 to 5. Realistically, probably 1 to 2 more top-level ones. What will the Jags have as their starting quarterback next year? Somebody other than Blake Bortles or a world full of problems. And don't you think your complaints about Eli are pretty personal? It really does come across that way because of how hostile you get when you mention his name. He still has maybe 1 or 2 more years left. No, he sucks. He just fucking sucks. But can't you see this? He's bum. He's done. He's washed. It's terrible. And if you were going to say anything about me being personal about a Manning, let's at least be factually accurate here. If you said Peyton, maybe different story. I don't think what I say about Eli gets into the personal category. Because a lot more people would agree with me in my criticisms of Eli than they ever have with my criticisms that are numerous of Peyton. Let's see here. Fuck it, that's it. I know there's a couple questions left, but I ain't got time to read them all. I'm just sorry, I'm being honest. So thanks to all of you guys that tweeted your questions. That was good. See you later.